Well, hello everyone, and welcome to another episode with your girl, Audrey Codner from ACG Math Tutoring. Hopefully you guys are having an awesome Friday. So, if anything, if you are new to my little channel here, what I do is I take on some basic math skills, or that you usually see in regular Algebra 1 or Algebra 2 courses, as well as college algebra, and also things that can be helpful for you for your GED, the ASVAB, the ACCUPLACER, the TEAS test, the HESI test, anything that has to deal with algebra. I try to break the concepts down. So what I do is I show you a problem and you try to work out that problem as best you can and put it in the chat. It's as simple as that. And then what happens, I go over it and we'll see, hey, you're okay with it, or yeah, you might need some extra practice with it. All right, so as you can take a look, this is our first one. We have 12 divided by 4 times 3 minus 5 squared minus 8 minus 2 squared. So, since there's no equal sign, that's telling me we're using order of operation. So, I would love to know what you think the answer is. Is it A, negative 12, B, negative 15, C, 9, or D, negative 10? Let's see if I can straighten myself out. Okay. All right, so 53, I see you with your A's. Thank you so much. I know if you keep doing it, then all of a sudden it's going to kick off the live. And trust me, don't make me hunt you down. Okay, thank you. Okay, so Arnie is giving me, is it Ariana? Is saying A. Jigs, welcome in, is saying A. Okay. Thank you so much for coming in here. Fritz Prize, I see you. Thank you for stopping in. All right. Mona Bob, thanks for the follow. Okay, anyone else? Everyone else is thinking in here? There she is. There's Fritz. Okay. Hey, my, how are you? Welcome in there. Preparing for the ASVAB? Yep, that's what we're doing. Okay, Smith C, I see you with your A. How am I so good at math? Just a lot of practice. All right, okay. So let's take a look. We need to break it down. So don't forget our please excuse my dear Aunt Sally, okay? From left to right. Okay, so everything has an operation, everything has a process. So first thing, I'm looking inside my brackets and I do have some parentheses. So within this parenthesis, that 8 minus 2 squared, I got to deal with that 2 squared first. So 2 squared, that's the same as saying 2 times 2, which will give me, I'm going to replace it with a 4. So a minus 4, or 8 minus 4, that gives me 4. There's a minus sign that's outside that parenthesis, so I don't really need the parenthesis because now I got 5 squared. Now 5 squared, that is not 10. This means 5 times 5, which gives us our lovely 25. So now this, before I do anything, we need to combine that. So 25 minus 4, that gives me 21. Okay, now I'm bringing everything else down. And I know for sure there's someone out there that's doing it that probably didn't put an answer down, but that's fine. That says, okay, well, I can do 4 times 3, so that gives me 12. And then 12 divided by 12 is 1. And so 1 minus 21, that should be a negative 20. Audrey, you're missing a problem. No. Okay, don't forget. We took care of the parentheses. Boom, that's gone. We took care of the exponents. Boom, that's gone. Now we need to do either multiplication or division from left to right. So if we're going from left to right, that means we are basically going to be dividing the 12 and the 4. That's what we should be doing first. We always do the operation before. Now, obviously, multiplication and division always comes before addition and subtraction. So 12 divided by 4, that gives us 3. Now we bring down our 3 and our 21. So 3 times 3, that gives me 9. So 9 minus 21. So 9 minus 21, that gives us a negative 12. Okay, so yes, it's going to be a negative 12. Okay? All right, so this is what we're doing. Now, I know someone's going to ask me, is this for the ASVAB? Yes. Is this for the GED? Yes. Is this for a high school equivalency test? Yes. Is this for a TSTS? Yes. It's going to be for all of that and then some, okay? Especially order of operations. All right, well, thank you so much, guys. Now, here's my thing. I don't know if I can fit it all in here, but I'm going to try. So we are basically evaluating and we're looking at, and I'm going to rewrite it. I think that'll be so much better. The negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. Who knows this formula? What is this formula? Go ahead and put it in the chat. Who knows this formula? It's probably haunting you in your dreams. Your grades are going up in GED. Good job, Joseph. I'm so proud of you. Hello, hello. Yes, quadratic, quadratic, quadratic. Example in your 7th temp. Happy to share tips. It's just DMing. Okay, great. We got the quadratics. There we go with the quadratics. Beautiful. All right. So now what they want us to do is they want us to evaluate. That means we're doing some kind of substitution. So we have our A equals 1. Our B is going to equal negative 6. And our C is going to equal 8. Okay. So we are plugging these things into the equation. Okay, Miss Sophia, I appreciate you sharing all the stuff, which is great. But if anything, if you want to do any kind of posting, I would greatly appreciate you message me first, because I know I wouldn't go on your platform and just start advertising for me. I always talk to people before I advertise, because at the end, I usually have a list of people that people follow because I get and socialize. So if you want me to add you onto my list, make sure we have a meetup, okay? I would greatly appreciate that. All right, awesome. I know we're all trying to do what we got to do. I get it. Because when you see 500 and some odd people in the live and we're doing basic algebra, and you're like, I know how to do this. I can make money off of this. This is awesome. But, just chit chat with me, okay? I'm very open, very honest. All right, cool. Cool. All right, so all we're doing is substituting, okay? So I know I'm going to have to try. to fit on my answers. So I know it's kind of weird. So what I'm going to do, off to the side here, I'm going to write what the answers are. Because this, I'm just trying it out, because I really want to put these down into one of my latest books, because I'm going to try to build some more exams for people so you don't have to worry or rely too much on tutors. So plugging in 1 for the A, negative 6 for the B, and 8 for the C, and these are our options. These are our answers that's over on the side over there. So either your answer is A, which is 2, B, which is negative 3, C, which is negative 4, or D, which is positive 5. So if you think you know the answer, go ahead and put that in the chat. I'll greatly appreciate that. And if you're not sure, put a question mark, okay? This is supposed to be a safe space for you, all right? So if you're just like, I don't know what's going on. It's been since a long time since I've seen this. Go ahead and put a question mark in the chat so it kind of gives me an idea. Thank you, Silly, for your honesty, as well as Mean. Silly and Mean, maybe you guys should bond up together. And hey, no. Okay, thank you so much for your honesty. Thank you for the follow. Hidden Hustle. Oh, Hustle Club. All right, I like it. Sunny, I see you. Thank you so much for your honesty as well. Hey, Queen E, how are you? You're saying it's C. Mari's not sure. Thank you so much. Thanks for the follow. Okay, where's x equals? True, we need to get what x equals. But see, right now, we're not solving. Okay, and I know, trust me, I get it. They're using the quadratic formula to help with just the evaluation. Because once I put x equals, that means I'm solving for x. And that's not what we're trying to do. We're just trying to break down that expression. Okay. All right. Do I do one-to-one? Yes, I do. Yeah, I know. Don't worry about it. All right, big bro, I see you with A. Okay, let's plug it in. Now, I'm seeing some mixtures of A's. I saw a couple B's with the -3s. I'm seeing a +2. Thank you, Joseph, for putting that in. Let's see. I probably missed a couple people because I was hammering on. Okay. How is B -3? Okay, well, we're going to see. We're going to break it on down because, yeah, I don't do Calc 3. Sorry. Not my definitely A, Christian. All right, so let's see. Understand what log in, but not this. Okay. All right, so we're plugging in numbers. So where I see a B, I'm going to put parentheses so we can kind of see what is being substituted in. So wherever I have a B, -4 times, this is representing my A, that's representing my C, all over 2 times the A. So to make life a little bit easier, so we don't have so much to stare at, so where my B is a -6. The -6 is only going in for the B. So the original problem gives us a -B. So that negative stays out here. So I'm just replacing just the B. Okay, a lot of people always get that messed up. So for my A, I'm putting my 1s, and my C, I'm plugging in an 8. Okay, so I'm going to cover up this part so we get less, so we can focus on one section at a time. Okay, now here we have a -6 times a negative. What's a negative times a negative? Okay, yep, it's quadratic formula. So what's a negative times a negative? Go ahead, put it in the chat. You can just put the symbol in. If you want to write the whole thing, you can. All right, a positive. Yes, thank you, Mari. Thank you, Angela. Hello, Angela, how are you? Okay, thank you, Silly. There you go. There you go, Mean. There we go. Possibly something positive. There we go. Yes. So that means this out here is going to be a +6. Okay, because a negative times a negative gives me a positive, and it's going to give me a +6, not a -6. You didn't replace that whole entire thing with the -6, just the B. So now we have our plus minus. That means we're going to have two solutions, one's dealing with the positive end, one's dealing with the negative end. Then -6 squared. Again, it's -6 times -6, not -12. Okay, notice the different sizes of the numbers, okay? So -6 times -6, that gives me a +36. Now we have a -4 times 1 times 8. So -4 times 1 gives me a -4. And -4 times 8 will give me a -32. Okay, and then 2 times 1, not to insult your intelligence, is 2. So now, let me cover that up because we just simplified all of that. So let's do what's underneath the radical. So I'm going to carry it over. I'm just going to use an arrow instead of an equal sign. So that means we have 6 plus or minus the square root of what? Over 2. 36 minus 32, thank you, Angela, it will give us our 4. So now, I need another piece of paper to copy. You should see this place. It's like paper central. Oh, God, I'm so sorry, Trees. So sorry. Okay. So now we got the square root of 2. So now we're going to cover this up and focus on this. So now we have 6 plus or minus the square root of 4. The square root of 4, that gives me 2. So that means we have 6 plus or minus 2. It's no longer, when it's a perfect square root, it is no longer underneath the radical. So we're done with this, and we're going to focus our attention here. So now we basically have 2 answers here. So we have one answer, which I'm going to put over here, and we have another answer, which I'm going to put down here. So this is saying 6 plus or minus 2. So that means we have 6 plus 2 divided by 2. That's going to be one answer. And the other one is going to be 6 minus 2 divided by 2. That's representing your other answer. So 6 plus 2, that gives me 8. 8 divided by 2 gives me 4. And it's a positive 4. So now we have 6 divided by 2. This will give me 4. And 4 divided by 2 will give me a positive 2. So yes, you are supposed to get 2 answers, but let's go back to the question. The question just basically says, evaluate the expression. So one of these answers are going to work. So we don't have a positive 4, but we do have a positive 2. That will be your answer. Okay. All right. Okay. So we just have to, one, be careful with our signage. And the main part that gets everybody is right here. Okay, right there, because what you're substituting in, you're substituting just, let me zoom in a little bit, you're substituting just the -6, what they said is supposed to represent our B, to replace the B. Okay, all right, Bree, don't hate math. You hate how it was presented to you. I'm going to tell you the truth. Because probably when you were first learning how to do this, you probably had a teacher that knew exactly how to do it, but didn't know how to break it down to you. And then on top of it, you might have had someone that says, you should know this. And guess what? You don't. Because we had something called what? A pandemic. And you probably didn't have a teacher that broke it down. So it's okay. All right. How is it 2 when 8 divided by 2 is 4? Because the second one, that was for the first one. Who's asked that question? Shane. Because that was for the first one. We have 2 answers. Because take a look right here. Zoop. We have our plus minus. That means you have 6 plus 2 over 2. And the other one is 6 minus 2 over 2. Okay. All right. Are you going to Anne Arundel? Okay, Joseph. All right. Joseph must face it. There you go, Fritz. Love that. Okay. So let's shrink-a-dink this for a second. Maybe not that much. All right. So we are going to simplify. So this one, we have 3 times 2 minus 5 squared plus the square root of 100 divided by 4. Now that is all under the square root minus 8. Okay. Billion coding. Okay. Nice. So you just have to get over college algebra. Is that right, Joseph? All right. Oh, well, thank you. Okay. Going to help. Nice, Mean. Good. I'm glad I can be of help. And thank you, Cheryl, for the kind words. I appreciate that. Okay. Because it's true. We all say we have a math phobia, and it's okay. Okay, that's what I figured. And it's okay. Because it was how this was presented to us. First, we were just adding and subtracting like normal, and then all of a sudden we have letters and numbers thrown together, and no one eased us into, and especially if a lot of you guys are like around my age of 40s and 50s, maybe 30s, maybe some 60s, we were just doing what we were told to do, right? And we never had someone to kind of ease us into the transition. So hopefully that's why I come on here, to kind of show that, because I used to suck at math. Absolutely horrible. All day, every day. Used to be terrible at it. Fractions, nope. All right, so we got some C's, we got some 24s, yup. We got 54. You have to have a 160 for college. Okay. Okay, so we got 24 cruising on the street. Thank you. Okay, Lainey with 24. Yes, Lee. Is it C? You got C, Lee. Okay, we're going to go over it in a second. Can we start solving? Sure. Just messing around your head, saying C. Wait, D. No, don't joke changing your answers. Let's see what we got. All right. Process of elimination. Okay. Yes, we have an exponent, but we have our parentheses. So I'm going to put it just slightly above this. We have our please excuse my dear Aunt Sally from left to right. Okay? So now, taking a look inside the parentheses. So we have 2 minus 5. So that gives me a negative 3. So I'm bringing down my 3, parenthesis, my negative 3. That's being squared, plus we have our square root of 100. I know I can combine so many of these, divided by 4 minus 8. Okay, so our parenthesis we took care of. Boom. Now we got to do our exponent. So negative 3 squared, that gives me 9. So it's 3 times 9. Okay. Took care of their exponent. So we have multiplication or division from left to right. So that means I can combine 3 times 9, which gives me my 27. And then inside the square root, I have 100 divided by 4. So 100 divided by 4, think of money. Okay, you got $1. You're splitting it into 4 coins. So that's 25 cents. That minus 8 is not under the radical. Okay, so now we're just bringing down the minus 8. But that square root of 25, that will give me, thank you, Fritz. Look at you. 27 plus 5, bring down the minus 8, okay? So we took care of all the multiplying, dividing from left to right. Now we're looking at adding and subtracting. Again, from left to right. So that means I am adding these two. So when I get my 27 plus my 5, that will give me my 32. And when I subtract that 32 with the 8, that will give me my 24. So my answer is C. Okay. How are you feeling? Okay. Now that we're older, I know right now some of you guys are probably feeling a little, how should I put it? Triggered. You're probably like, math, and you're like already trying to break into hives. Relax. I know that's that little child when you were in middle school is starting to come out. You're like, oh, people used to tease me. People used to do this, used to do that. Now we're older. Probably some of you guys probably have kids, and you notice your kids are struggling as well. Now, and you look at probably your kids' homework and said, what in the dear blessed Lord is this? Why do we have sticks? Why do we have that? Why don't we just do it this way? How many of you guys, put a show of hands, have heard the saying, well, my teacher doesn't do it that way? Put it in the chat. Put a little thumbs up if you've heard it that way. Yeah. Oh, my teacher doesn't do it that way. Dry, I didn't solve for -5 raised to the second power because it's not a -5 raised to the second power, my dear. It is 2 minus 5 because it's inside parentheses, right? So 2 minus 5, that will give me my -3. That's where the -3 came from. And then when you raise it rightly, and when you raise it to the second power, -3 times -3 gives me a +9. So that's where that 9 came from. Okay. You're talking about the root of 25? Well, the square root of 25 gives us 5. And there's no minus sign in front of that. So when we go from left to right, we had to combine the 27 and the 5. That's where the 32 came from. Okay? It's only positive and negative when you're solving. We're not solving, we're evaluating. Okay? Right? Okay? When we're evaluating, they're always using the positive. They're never using the both positive and negative. But good observation, though. All right? Okay, so let's do a little bit of factoring because that was something that I really wanted to do before I have to skedaddle because I got a tutor. Yes. All right, but I might be able to come back on depending on how things go. So I am looking at this number 7 up top here. So let me cover up so it won't get too overwhelming. Now, we can solve this basically one great way. First thing, anytime you just take a brief look in front at your highest exponent, your leading coefficient. The reason why I know this is my leading coefficient because it has the highest exponent, aka it's called the degree. And if you think about it, anytime if I say, what time? It's like 37 degrees today. Oh, glorious. I feel like just sunbathing right now compared to the 4 degrees we've been having for a couple weeks. So if I say 37 degrees, you know the degree symbol is like in the same spot as an exponent. Okay, so another name for the exponent is called a degree. So if your highest degree, because this has a degree of 1 if you don't see anything, and this has a degree of 0, right? So if you see your highest degree is to the second power, and your leading coefficient, that means the number that's in front of the variable, if you don't see anything, it's always assumed to be a 1. Okay, this is what you can do with the factoring. So with the factoring, that means I can split those x's into 2 parentheses. Just get straight to the nitty of the gritty. Now, I want to kind of keep it with the same process. So this is what's called standard form. So the number in front of your x squared, that's representing your a. The number in front of your x, that's representing your b. And your constant, that's representing the c. Okay, kind of like stalling here. So what happens is you can multiply your a and your c. And I know a lot of people are like, well, why don't you just do the c? Because if you go with this process, it doesn't matter what your leading coefficient is. It's going to be exactly the same process. And I try to keep consistent. So we know 1 times anything is itself. So we got a 24 right here. And then our b value is what's next to the x, so that's a -11. So this is what you got to think. Ready? What 2 numbers multiplied? Ooh, that's a dead bunny. what two numbers multiply will give you 24, and the same two numbers add will give you a negative 11. Okay. Oh, okay, good. So Nina's saying 12 and 2. You foil. Well, FOIL is for multiplying. Okay, when we're factoring, we're going into reverse. Okay, so hey, Jen saying -8, -3. -3, we got 6 and 4. We have 3 and 8. We have 8 and 3. We have 8. We need two numbers. We have a -8 and a -3. Okay, hey, Michael with the -3 and -8. Unpredictables thinking it's C. Okay, so we got a whole bunch of C's. All right, so now let's take a look. So if I did 8 and 3, 8 times 3 will give me my -24, but 8 plus 3 will give me a positive 11. So that means I need for both of these bad boys to be negative. Reason why? Because a negative times a negative will give me a positive. And when I'm adding the negatives, I keep the signage and I add the numbers. So it'll be that -11, which works great. So that means we have a -8 is going in one parenthesis and -3 is going in the other. Now, if you ever see them flip-flopped, like say it was x minus 3 over here and you have x minus 8 over here, same diff, okay? That's going to be your answer, which is C. Okay. All right. Okay. The master product, there we go. Okay, so let me see if I can get one more. Yes, let me get this one in here. And I'm going to see if I can come back a little bit later. I might be on my big screen type thing, but I'll see if I can because I do have a couple sessions, okay? So which of the following is a factor? So we know we're going to get two of them. The reason why I know, because my degree. My degree tells me how many factors or how many solutions I'm going to have. So with that being said, let me raise this up. My A is always the number in front of the x squared. My B is always the number in front of the x. And my C is always the constant. So I know you're probably saying, all right, go ahead, Audrey, put your parentheses down. Because I'm going to show you one of two ways, and you figure out which way feels comfortable to you, okay? So we do not have a 1 as my leading coefficient, so I can't just easy breezy just split them up with x's. Well, we could, but there's a twist to it. So remember how we set up our little x last time? And we multiplied our A and the C, and we rewrote the B. This is why I like consistency. So this time we do have a number for A, and we multiply it by the C. So 6 times -3 gives me -18, and we rewrite the B, which is -7. So now we need to think, what two numbers multiply together will give me -18 and add together to give me -7. So I'm going to write mul for multiplication, and I'm going to write add for addition. What do we got, people? College statistics, I don't love it, but I'll kind of do it. Unpredictable life is saying 2 and 9. Okay. Edie is saying 9 and -2. Okay, Nana's got -2 and -9. Wait, another way around. Okay, got you. So I got 2 and 9, -9 and 2, Heather, I got you. Okay, so we got -9 and 2. All right, JK's got -9 and 2. Isaac's saying it's B. Ethan's saying -9 and 2. AI is with my 2 and -9. All right, Fortune's thinking -9 and 2. All right. Let's take a look. So if we do 9 and 2, and we know one of them has to be negative, if you make the 9 negative, that's fine. Negative 9 times 2 gives us negative 18. Beautiful. But let's see if it works for the negative 7. If I have negative 9, that means if you owe me $9 and then you paid me $2, hey, that means you still owe me $7. So this combination works. So then we have our negative 9 here and our plus 2 here. Now, remember I said that there's a little twist, and the reason why there's a twist is because my A value is a 6. So this is what I can do. A lot of people call it simplify and slide. I'm going to divide both of these by my A. The reason why we're doing this is because we got an A. Last time we didn't have an A. So now let's take a look at 9 and 6. 9 divided by 6 is not going to give me a nice, sweet, pretty number. But 9 and 6 can be reduced to what? Okay, so 9, 6 to what? Or reduced by what? So we got 3's. Yes. So 9 and 6 are both part of the 3 times table. So if I divide this negative 9 by 3, I will get a negative 3. If I divide this 6 by 3, I'm going to get a 2. Now, this is the next part. Still can't divide it and give me a nice pretty number. So I'm going to take this 2 and I'm going to slide to the front. So that means that first parenthesis is going to be 2x minus 3. Okay. Let me show you in the next one. You're probably like, oh, okay. All right. So if I do for the next one, 2, 6, what number does 2 and 6 have in common? Okay, thank you with my 1/3. Good. 2 and 6, they'll both have what in common? Okay, Brookie, thank you. Do I do pre-calculus? I do, mostly through my tutoring, right? Got our 1/3 Heather, good. Brookie by 2, yes, thank you. Nana by 2. So that means if I divide this 2 by 2, I'm going to get a 1. If I divide this 6 by 2, I'm going to get a 3. But again, it's hard for me to divide 1/3. You know, it's going to give me my repeating of 3's. So since it doesn't give me a nice pretty number, I'm going to take that 3 and slide it in front of the x. So that parenthesis is going to be 3x plus 1. So these are my factors, but they only want 1. So we try to find which one matches up. And the only one that's there, because this says 2x minus 3, but this is 2x plus 3. Not going to work. Not exactly the same. So the only one that's exactly the same is part D. Okay. Okay, so it's going to be part D. I know you probably couldn't even see the answers over there. All right. So the reason why, and I'm probably going to come back, and if I do, I'm going to do more factoring, just like this. The reason why I do these is because these are a couple of those 4-point questions. If you're thinking about getting your GED, these are the type of questions. These are 4-point questions. If you can get this answered, that's a 4-point question. This is a 4-point question. Anything dealing with slope anything dealing with the equation of the line, anything dealing with parallel and perpendicular lines and their slopes, anything dealing with point slope, anything dealing with graphing, linear inequalities, linear equations, system of equations, and factoring. They are all 4-point questions. They are all 4-point questions. If you skip any of those, you are not going to pass the GED. They basically have it arranged skill set wise for those points to add up. If you skip any of those questions, you will not pass the GED. You will have to actually score well on 3, if not 4 of them in order to pass the GED if you do okay with the other stuff. Okay? All right? Okay. So, this is... okay, in the beginning, pre-cal, the box method, confused them badly. Yes, box method, sometimes it works, but that's when you are multiplying. Like if they gave you these ahead of time, and then you do the box method to get this as your result, whereas we're working up on the reverse. All right? Okay, so I unfortunately, or fortunately for me, I have to get ready for my client. So what I am going to do before you guys skedaddle, let me take this away, but I will bring it back. And I'm thinking about coming back a little bit later today, if that works for you guys. If you guys, let me just pick this up. Give me some time here and just go here, because I can't say the word. All right, if you go here, I actually have a playlist that says TikTok Lives, and all of my TikTok Lives are ready and available. We go through some of the problems like this. Sometimes we go through individual stuff. So if you want to take a look at stuff like that, go ahead and get yourself signed up on that. I also, if you go to the link in my bio, I also have a lot of books for sale, but I'm going to talk about those when I come back on. But if you want, you can take a look at the link in my bio and take a look around, see what you like. All right. But if you are going to do any kind of digital products, please make sure you go to the thank you page to get your links. Okay. Some people keep skipping that part. And here's a couple of people that you can basically follow. So Impact Math, I know she does a lot of stuff. A Blessed RN, Professor TK for chemistry. So if anyone is stuck with chemistry, she's amazing. Learning with Lynette is basically breaking down the abacus. So you can learn how to, I don't know, put the basics of mathematics together, okay? So you actually have the physicality of it. And if you guys are really into watches, I know I'm going from one thing to the next. My friend Andy, he is doing awesome with his watch collections. He actually breaks down people's collections and helps them with their next steps. All right. All right. So I will be back on later on today. I'm probably going to say probably in the next couple of hours. And I'll see you then. Okay. Thanks for stopping in, and I will see you again. Again, if you need any questions or anything, just go ahead and message me. Just DM me. All right. Talk to you soon. Bye.